That's tomorrow. That's it for today. Whatever it is, it's not right there on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that. I can't read it. There's no words on it. There's no words there. The play us out. What does that mean? The play us out. I don't know what that means, the play us out. Then the show? Go. That's tomorrow. That is it tomorrow, and we will leave you with. I can't do it. We'll do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. And we'll do it live. The fucking thing sucks. That's it tomorrow. And we'll leave you with Sting and cut off his video. I'm Ken O'Reilly. Yeah, that's right. All my life, waiting for somebody. Come and take my hand. All my life, waiting for somebody. Whoa, yeah. Down for so long, doesn't really matter. The downtown home, been kicked and I've been spurred. You come along, doesn't really matter. I'm going alone, doesn't even hurt. All my life, waiting for somebody. Oh yeah. All my life, waiting for somebody. Oh yeah, whoa yeah. All my life, waiting for somebody. Oh yeah. I'm waiting for the day that you come my way. Hey, hey, I've been drove down deep. I made a big decision. I'm going to sleep, and I'm going there alone. I know damn well I'm tired of all this crying. On my feet, so fast as I can tell. I'm waiting for the day that you come my way. Somebody, oh, waiting for somebody. Oh, how, for somebody. Oh, how. I'm waiting for somebody. Waiting for somebody. Waiting for somebody. Hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, some of these podcasts that you watch, Ross Dog Network, literally, they should have bullets in their heads.
Hello, douche. Can he know you? Yeah, that's right. It's hard for the TV show. He don't say much, but you'll never know what you might see, what you might hear. There's only once a night to remind him he's a queen.
Paul, look down and come over with overhand right.
Wow.
Right on Tyson's nose. Good shot.
Good overhand right. Yeah, that's right. Yes, indeed. Good overhand right. He knocked me right out.
Kamala wouldn't have this conversation. She can't because she's not
No.
smart. You know, she's not a smart person, by the way. She can't have this conversation. And Biden, we don't even have to talk about it. I mean, he couldn't have this conversation.
He's an Asian guy. Huh.
Hey, Jews. Bye, Eagles. Bye. Haters gonna hate. Winning this game, you ain't. No, you. No, dummy Eagles. No, you. Bye, Eagles. Bye. Yeah, that's right. It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights on the Ken TV Puppet Show tonight. Yeah. Yeah, Bolts football's back. Go Jets. No you. Yeah, that's right. I'm for America's team. Go Cowboys. Fuck everyone else. So I feel. No you. You know it's going to be the Raiders. Raiders all the way because I'm from Toronto and I'm gay. Yeah, that's right. No you today. Yes.
Well, let me give you the proper introduction. All right, my next guest at one point managed MotorHead. It's working on a documentary about immigration. What's behind the Lemmy movie and the Rainbow Bar movie, and it's currently working with the RZA, Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah. Our area is Micheal Singleton. Yeah, that's right. How you doing?
What's going on?
I thought that's a pretty good intro.
Yeah, it was. I'm not working with RZA. I worked with RZA, but
Okay,
I have
working
not
with
worked
RZA.
with.
Sorry
Yeah,
about
that's okay.
All right.
Yeah. So what's going on, man? That's great. That was awesome, though.
Okay.
Watching your stuff beforehand, that was amazing.
All right. Let me get to my questions. Well, how are you doing, first of all?
Hey, I'm actually okay. I was a little bummed out for the last few days, but I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole country was
Yeah.
since it was killing. Okay, but what's not
Yeah,
really
that and the girl was just the whole thing with that video was like watching her, didn't even see it coming, and then she looked at him like, what did I do? What? Why? That was the saddest thing about it for me. And then she just falls over and dies. And I cried for like 2 days, you know. And
Okay.
what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah. All right. I'll get to all the old questions. All right. Tell us about the immigration documentary, since that's what you're working on right now. Might as well get to the new, right?
Yeah.
Then we'll roll back to Lemmy and all that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm working on I'm working in music. I've been working in music since I was 12, and then I got into working in film as a PA, and then I wanted to. I learned that I was a pretty good writer, and actually a really good writer. And then so I just started working in film, and then being that I'm a union grip now, and the industry is kind of taken a 360-degree turn to nowhere because of the pandemic, and then the 2 strikes, the writer strike, the actor strike.
Yeah.
And then the election. Well, Hollywood's in like a revamp mode for the next 2 years, and so maybe next year it'll start picking up. But we went from 80 shows and TV and film projects a week in New York City to like 8. So there's not a lot of work for the people in the industry here. So I decided to do my own stuff, and I'm crowdfunding. A lot of the directors do that so they don't have to.
Yeah. I couldn't really donate, but I shared. So you share, maybe other people shared it after I shared it on X, and then maybe one of them will have money to donate. And that
Yeah.
kind of helps
Well,
it.
that
Right
actually
away.
I learned that format isn't really good for film, so I'm actually reformatting it for a Kickstarter. So I'll just put it back out either this weekend or next weekend,
All
and
right.
kind of start over with it. But it's the immigration issues for me is like, I just want to give it an unbiased look. I want to talk to everybody. I just want the truth. I think it may have an impact on the election next November, depending on how people look at it. But I just want everybody's truth on then how their perception, whether it's the protesters, the soldiers, the police, the immigrants, and there are immigrants that are here. I've talked to a number of immigrants that are here that came through port of entry, and they support the deportation the program that's going on. So it's kind of it's interesting. It's a very complex issue. I'm not taking sides.
Some immigrants are criminals, some aren't.
Yeah, some are and some are. And then there have been people that were, mistakenly picked up that weren't criminal and they got shipped out. So I want everybody's opinion, everybody's perception in this documentary. So it's just, I'm not going to slant it to the right or the left. I'm staying in the middle where the truth is.
Right. We're all kind of descendants of immigrants.
Well, yeah, my natural father was from Mexico and my mother's from Ireland. So, yeah.
My people are from that place called Europe. If they didn't come here, we wouldn't be talking right now, and I wouldn't be in New York.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So I just want to get everybody's thing on, and then I think that would be a really nice thing to see and hear everybody's take on it, and it'll be a well-rounded presentation, and I think people can make their own decisions from it. Or continue to think the same way, or change their thinking. It really, the film will be defined by the emotions that it invokes and the thoughts behind it, and how people take it from there. So you'll love it or hate it, and that's it about that, I guess. Yeah.
All right. All right. Before we get into all that, what is your funniest, craziest Lemmy story? We're going to start talking about him and all that. Might as well get.
Yeah, well, one day, there's a couple of stories I can think of right now. One day, Lemmy yelled at me, and I had nothing to do with me. He was pissed off about something else going on. I can't remember what. It might have been like the other guys in the band, or maybe it was something that wasn't ready. But he just tore off on me, and I just sat there. I stood there and just went, "All right, okay, no problem, thank you." You know what I mean? And which is not been an easy thing for me throughout my life, but I was in a position where I was being professional. I was on a tour. I was an assistant tour manager on that specific day. And he came back to me like 10 minutes later and he goes, "Hey, I just want to apologize." And I was like really taken aback that I had never experienced that in a celebrity, to take me to the side and go, "I'm really sorry. I should not have done that to you." And from that point on, I realized, and I watched how he was with everybody. He was the nicest guy. I've met sober people in the business, whether it's the film business or the music business. There aren't even half as nice as this guy was. And this guy was the most accommodating. He would do anything for you if you asked him to. He had all kinds of his friends level was like so eclectic. He had so many different kinds of friends all over the world. And he truly was the nicest guy that I had ever met. And the management, I found out that I was a manager for them when I got Todd Singerman. There was three main managers. It was Todd Singerman, who owns the company, Singerman Entertainment. There was Adam Parsons and Shelly Berman. And I forgot her husband's name. He's the photographer, John something. But he took all the pictures for Guns N' Roses. He had amazing stories because he went on tour with a lot of these different bands. Yeah. But they were all amazing. And then so Todd sends me the CD and a package stuff for a press package. And I look on the CD and I always go through the thing, who produced what, who did what. And it was Cameron Webb had done the production for this particular album. The guy who had done Social Distortion's album. Really brilliant young producer at the time.
Which was Social D? Was it the self-title?
It was the one that had Highway 101.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he produced that one. I think that was his big major one that he did. And then they picked him up MotorHead picked him up for their album. It was like 2006 or 7. And I looked on and had all the managers in there, and my name was the last name on there. And I go, what the fuck? And then I called up Todd and I go, this is correct? He goes, "Yeah, brother, you're part of the team." So for like 5 years, I'm like, one of the managers for MotorHead. And that helped me help a lot of other bands, that I wanted to work with too, as well.
Right. Usually if the talent is pissed off, they'll yell at the manager sometimes.
Oh yeah. All the time. Yeah. Yeah.
It kind of goes with the job requirements, right.
That brings me to the other story I was going to tell you. We were doing the small tour, And this was the reason why I got picked up. So I met Todd when I was on tour with Goldfinger, and because Zebrahead,
Wow,
who he
Goldfinger.
managed,
Nice.
Zebrahead, who he managed, was on tour with us. And I talked to Todd, and he gave me his card, and we're talking. And next thing you know, I'm hired. After I came off tour with Goldfinger, I was Goldfinger's stage manager. I did the drum tech. I set up the drums for Darren, and I constantly repaired John Feldman's guitar because he would throw it out into the crowd
Talking
every
about
night.
the ska band, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so I had to constantly work on his guitar all day long, and then he would go and throw it in the crowd again. So, and then I would have to go retrieve it. Some lucky kid gets the guitar. He goes, "Oh my God, I got a guitar!" And then I have to go take it out of his hands. It was really messed up. But anyway, it was fun. So Todd and I, we talked, and he threw me on the roster, and so we're on a small regional tour in LA. We went to like Vegas was, I think, the last show coming back down from Vancouver. And Lemmy got all this comp because he always comes into the casino and he spends a lot of money, so they don't charge him for the room, all that kind of stuff.
Right, yeah.
And so, but the other two, Mickey D, the drummer, and Phil Campbell, they got all bummed out and butthurt that
Phil the filthy animal, right?
yeah, and they're like, "Well, why can't we get comp? Well, I got an Emmy, or a Grammy. I got a Grammy." And I was like, hold on. So I had to go to the desk and smooth the whole thing out, and I got their rooms comped and everything. And then so I put that fire out, and then that's what got me, I think, put me on the level of manager was after that.
Yeah, because
I smoothed everything out.
He's the guy at the front of the stage. The other guys are there, but he's Lemmy.
Yeah.
So
Lemmy's, it's been his band from like 75 or something like that. So it's like, it's been his band. Everybody else are like, it's like the same with Mike Ness with Social Distortion. It's his band. Everybody else is hired,
Yeah.
and can be fired on a whim if that's who he wanted to be. But those guys aren't like that. It was really cool when we were in LA at the House of Blues doing the first show, and Dave Grohl would come in. I mean, Dave's the nicest guy I've met in music. And just so chill. And him and Lemmy were always doing stuff together. I mean, it was so nice meeting these people that were just amazing human beings when I worked with Lemmy.
Okay. Great Rainbow Bar movie. What? Who
I didn't work on that. I didn't work on those movies, but I'm kind of familiar with them. So go ahead and ask me.
But said on the IMDb.
Did it put me on there? Yeah, I got some stuff off of there that I have not. I don't know why I'm on that stuff. But go ahead. Like the Fly of the Conchords, it says on there. I did like, I don't forget what I did on, but I ended up like I was on the crew, and then I ended up like being a dead person on the first their first episode, like laying in the street, and I'm in the dancing in the apartment and stuff. So I get thrown in there with all kinds of stuff.
What about were you managing Motorhead when the Lemmy movie was made?
Yes, I was. It was I managed them from I was one of the managers from 2005 to 2010 late.
Okay. Well, you said the other day that that show, Reverend Horn Heat, Nashville Pussy.
Yes, the Nashville Pussy show. Yeah,
Ballroom is no longer existing.
I know, that was sad.
I was at that show, my first time seeing Motorhead.
Really? Get out! Really, that was your first time?
Yeah, I only saw him 2 times, and I saw him on Lemmy's last tour when the throat was kind of
yeah.
Going. That was a really good set.
Yeah, that was a great show because I had Nashville Pussy, they had Reverend Horton Heat, and then they had the Episodes, which was the band that I was specifically working with at the time.
I don't remember. They opened for Nashville?
They were the first band to open for the whole show. They were on certain selected dates because they're Tommy was, believe it or not, and Tommy was 9 years old, the lead singer. I mean, he was amazing. The older brother, David, there were 3 brothers, and the other 2 were friends. David was
I guess I was late because I just saw Nashville Pussy go on and then the rest.
Yeah, you probably, that's exactly what happened. Yeah. They got a good spin on that magazine that I sent you though. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And when Adam saw them in because they opened for them in Columbus, And Adam Parsons was on tour with them, and one of their lead managers, and he saw them finally. He knew what I was talking about. He's like, "You got to do a video of these guys. You can't just tell people that he's 9 years old. You got to show people what he's doing." And I went and I rented a camera, like a consumer DVD mini DV camera, and I just shot it. And my friend Richard edited it. We both edited it and put it together. And we had Dwayne Peters. See, if I'd found the thumb drive, I would have sent you the video. We had Dwayne Peters. They did a show with Dwayne, the U.S. Bombs, at the Grog Shop in Cleveland. So Dwayne co-signs them. These little kids are punk rock, blah, 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 blah. And with his like Orange County, voice.
How old was the singer?
When they started, he was 6. By the time they got and opened up for Motorhead, and he was 9.
Wow.
9 years old. I will get you the video and the music to him. Yeah.
How old was the rest of the band?
Okay, so Kevin, the drummer, who was a phenomenal drummer, I had people like Charlie Quintana, a bunch of other drummers, even Mickey D were like, "Wow, this kid is going to put me out of business." He would do these triplets and come right back in the pocket like it was nothing.
Wow.
Kevin was one of the most amazing drummers at 12 years old that I have ever seen. And every time you see them play, they would just get better and better and better. So Kevin was 12 when he started, I believe, and then David was 14. So by the time they got to Roseland or whatever, David was his last year of college. That we had hired another guitar player who didn't do so well. I'm not gonna say his name, but then we found this kid Dylan, and Dylan was at like, I think he was the same age as like Dave, between David and Kevin. And then we got Rob, and Rob looked like kind of like a Nicky Six, but he was a great guitar player. But now Dylan was a classically trained guitar player at like such a young age, but he loved playing punk rock. And he loved he loved like rock and roll, any of that. He just loved it. He was just the most talented kid in guitar that I had seen in years. And so when we were in the studio, Todd gave me $1,000. So we did 7 songs in 5 days. We scratch tracked the vocals at the Lava Room in Cleveland. Great. We had the SSL 6000, the board from the Electric Ladyland, because when Electric Ladyland closed, those guys bought it. Billy from Warrant, he had a bar in Cleveland. He built the Lava Room. So we got the kids in there for $1,000. We had 5 days to work on this. And so we scratch tracked the vocals. Then we did, we did the bass and the drums, and then we punched in the guitar and then the leads. And on the last day, we did the leads and the vocals and the backups and Tommy's. And I could tell Dylan, here, now do this here. Why don't you put a little like whatever on this, and he would just he was like, I said, I compared it to Chuck Berry, a lead, and he goes, "Oh yeah, perfect, I can do that." And he would just knock it out in seconds. I mean, the kid, you could do it in one take, and it was amazing. And so when we had the CDs, when we had done the CDs to sell on their shows, we didn't even master it. We did it as a 3-chord rock and roll. It was some of the best stuff that we'd ever heard. And they would sell out the CDs like at every show that we'd had. They would just sell them out as the first. They opened for Body Count in Cleveland. They opened for all kinds of guys.
Are they still together?
Well, now, no. David became a cop. He's a transit cop there. He's an amazing young man. They all grown up to be really good, fine men. Tommy, the youngest, he's got like 3 kids. Alex has got a couple of kids. Alex is their brother that didn't play music, but they all grew up to be really good husbands and fathers. And Kevin's is doing his own thing. He's not married or anything, but they're just really good men now. And because they were like my stepsons, I was with their mom for years, and I helped raise them. And I like to think that maybe I did this for them because their uncle had passed away in 2005 during Christmas, and they played. The 3 of them played together at the place called Peabody's, and to raise money. And they killed it. And because their uncle taught them how to play, this guy Sean Watkins, who was in the Vacancies, had taught Kevin how to play drums, and they were just amazing. And Tommy could memorize this stuff like it was nothing. And it just took off from there. And I told him, look, if you want to do this, if this is what you want to do, I'll use every connection I have to make this work for you. And then, something happened and it fell out, and that's usually the way it is. But we did 5 years of really good stuff. And I just wanted to show them that there was more to life out there than like, than just Cleveland. I wanted to give them the opportunity to experience something,
Yeah.
and they just killed it. And now, well, Tommy and Dylan are playing. Rob was playing guitar for what are these guys? They're from
What band are they playing in? Or they just
it's
play
called
by
oh my god, it's called Hams, I think. It's in Cleveland, and
Okay.
and they Tommy's lead singer, they're getting a lot of notice. It's Tommy and Dylan write most of the stuff. From my understanding, they're getting a lot of notice in Cleveland. They're talking to some people about doing some tours, maybe throwing on with somebody. I mean, they've come a long way, and they just started playing again a few years ago. Tommy and Dylan. So Tommy has his own business, but they're just doing it to get as much as they can, and they have fun with it. They did what I asked them to do. They learned to have fun with it, but when it's time to be business-like, it's time to be business, because it is a business. It's the times are gone where you can't go out and party every night and then throw shit out the hotel window and then
we can't be living that Charlie Sheen lifestyle.
Yeah,
only
it doesn't
Charlie
work anymore. And the record companies won't put
there's
up with
only-
it, Nobody puts up with that shit anymore. So
Yeah, you can only most of us mortals can only drink so much and smoke so
Right.
much crack. We're not
Lemmy could
Charlie
like drink
Sheen.
2 fists a night, you know what I mean, of Jack Daniels and a variety of other like substances, and he would just be normal, you know what I mean? Like it was like nothing for the guy. Yeah, that was amazing.
Have you ever been into drugs yourself? mean,
I have had an issue with I had my issues. Look, I was in the scene, the punk rock scene, in Los Angeles, Hollywood, and I'm originally from East LA. We moved to Texas when I was younger, but I was back and forth, and the scene had just gotten so permeated with heroin because all the heroes were junkies,
yeah.
and it just kind of took over, and I for a long time I just made fun of all my friends, that were getting high all the time. Watch 5 of my friends.
It's kind of
Go
like
ahead.
grunge. They were all into junk.
Yeah, I mean, but the grunge came from the punk rock scene, so I mean,
True.
it branched out from that. So all that shit just came over with it, and then I don't know, because it was cool. I think a lot of us came from really. I mean, it was a subculture full of broken people, and there's nothing wrong with that because some of your most talented people are broken. And I think for me, making fun of everybody, and then I did it when I was drunk one day, and my friends were sick, and I go, look, I just got paid, and I go, look, I'll hook you up, man, I'll buy it for you, but you gotta let me try it. And at that moment when I did it, I knew that I was in trouble. It was in 1987,
Yeah.
May of 87, and I knew I was in trouble. I didn't know how much trouble, but I knew it was going to be bad, and it just kicked my ass. It was the worst relationship I ever had with anybody. Yeah, she lied to me all the time. But it took away all that pain on every level, emotionally, mentally, physically. So it's been a long time since I've been destroying my life. Now I've got other things to focus on, and I'm doing well. I'm not completely sober, it is what it is, but I don't fuck around anymore.
Yeah, I'm saying that I saw that Sheen documentary, right? His dealer kept on making like crack the base mix less strong. So eventually
Yeah.
he's like, why am I smoking this anymore? Right? I'm not really getting high.
Yeah. It gets to a point where it just doesn't work anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I was engaged to Rain Pryor, Richard Pryor's daughter, and
Wow.
we would go to his house in Encino on the weekends and talk to him and hang out and spend some time with him. And he had amazing stuff to say. And I had embarrassed her. We were on a video shoot. Richard was on this video. He was a limo driver for these 4-piece singers guys, boy band. And I was in the trailer, just, I've been doing speedballs all day, and I completely embarrassed her. I was making everybody laugh because, this is what I do. And he goes, so what do you think? I go, oh yeah, he's a funny motherfucker, but he's high as shit. So I had to go into rehab directly after that. That was one of my first experiences with impact out in Los Angeles, Pasadena.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy that. This is when before crack, when people were three basing.
Freebasing, yeah, when it was like really
brand
expensive.
new, and like
Yeah.
people were getting so high, they would pour wicker on themselves and try and kill themselves. That's Richard's
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. It's, I mean, that was, freebasing is like the rich man's crack. I mean, nobody freebases anymore.
But that's like getting really high.
Yeah.
That's way high. I don't think any of us could get that high, but
Yeah, I've tried. I mean, like I had a job where I was making a lot of money really quick, and my friend of mine, John, he's still around, but he's in Northern California, and we would do a job, and then I would have like about 10 grand or whatever. This is like in this is in the early 90s or whatever, and then we would go to a hotel room in downtown LA. I had a relative that was selling, coke and heroin at 3rd and Main, and then we would we'd go get our stuff, and we get a couple of Salvadorian prostitutes, and then we'd sit there and not have sex all weekend because you're so high, and our face, we have rug burn on our cheek because everybody's like, we're at the door looking at who's in the hallway when there's nobody in the hallway, and it's just ridiculous shit, and then you have to pay the girls because they're hanging with you, but you're not having sex because you're so high. It's just so retarded.
all right. When did you work with RZA?
Oh, okay. I was on American Gang. I was working on American Gangster, and we were doing the scene where he's the police officer and he's watching the guy.
All right.
Yeah, shooting. He's watching what's his name's cousin, who's his driver, shoot his girlfriend. And there's those big stairs. It's up there on the east side of New York somewhere. And so we're in between takes or whatever. We're standing there, and he is the man, the library of all music. It doesn't matter if it's classical, punk rock, it could be bluegrass. It doesn't matter what it is. He knows it, and he knows it all. And I was sitting there just talking about stuff because I have all that meaningless information in my head as well. But we were just talking about music and certain artists and the inspirations and the development and how this came out and how that started and how it was influenced by this and that. And he was my favorite person to talk to about this stuff, and one of the nicest guys as well. Very accommodating.
Any interesting after parties with Russell Crowe, RZA, and Denzel Washington?
No, I never. Well, from what I know is Denzel never really did any of that stuff. He might go really quick to something that if it was a industry thing or something, but he never went to like any of that stuff that I worked on. But and he just stayed away from those kind of things. He has a wife and has a family, and he's a very professional guy, and he doesn't get involved in any of the drama. As far as Russell goes, I think he's mellowed. From then, he started mellowing out by then. That's one
of his best movies. He plays the cop, the guy that arrests him, and then plays the lawyer that gets him out.
Yeah, there's a movie he did. Here's a movie he did in Australia called Romper Stomper, and his mother, the girl that played his mother, well, she died of cancer, but she was I can't remember her name. She's an Australian singer. She was a famous in that genre of not new wave or punk up, but alternative, I think, from the early 90s. She passed away. She had cancer, and she played his mom. A really talented lady. Amazing. I'd have to look it up, but she was amazing. She played his mom. So when he was a skinhead in that movie,
I'm a big fan. I like most movies he's in.
Yeah. I like Russell Crowe a lot. But RZA's a professional guy too. He doesn't really. And the first time I met RZA, which is funny, was when I was working.
Guys are sober.
Yeah, they do get. Well, back when I first met him, he was still puffing up. I never saw him do anything like that on American Gangster, but we were working on Source Sound Lab. It was a hip hop magazine, Source magazine. And they had they did like a 13 episode show that when you're doing TV, it's different because you'll shoot like 3 or 4 episodes a day. So within the 5-day week there, I was the key PA and the walkie PA for that season, whatever it was, back in like 2007 or something like that, maybe 2000.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. Back in 98, 99.
Oh, wow.
It's one of my first PA gigs. And and Wu-Tang Clan was on the last episode. So the hallway upstairs where the green rooms were just lit up. The whole hallway was lit. You walked into a fog. It was ridiculous. But I mean, they were known for that. But
Yeah.
nobody ever like started fights or killed anybody or nothing really bad happened when you're smoking pot. You know what I mean? So I
Was
mean,
it
it wasn't
just
a big
him
deal.
or the whole clan?
It was the whole band. It was the whole clan.
whole
It was the Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah, because they
10
were
of
there
them.
for the last show. All of them were there.
Yeah, once
Yeah.
they did the second album, there's 10 because remember on the first album, Capodanno was in prison. So then
Yeah.
they
Well, you
got
know,
reunited, he got added, and that's 10.
Jizza is like one of my all-time favorites because Liquid Swords is one of my favorite CDs.
That's mine too.
And
That's
it's got all that like those little monologues or voiceovers like right in the beginning of each song. When I was young, my dad was the most fearless samurai or whatever in all of Japan. The most, I mean,
That's
that stuff
from
is so cool.
all that stuff, intros, they're all from Kung Fu movies.
Yeah, yeah. I think that particular one was from Lone Wolf and Cub or something like that, you know, but
Yeah, even the name Master Killer is from a
Yeah.
movie.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the
for
name
sure.
of a Kung Fu movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that whole the Shaolin and the Wu-Tang could be dangerous because they're two different Kung Fu gangs.
Well, you know, they were in remember that movie what was it? The one with Forrest Whitaker, Jim Jarmusch directed it, where he's like a samurai, like this masterless samurai, and some of those guys are in it. You know what I mean? And he's this black guy who travels the Brooklyn projects, and he like helps people or he does jobs and stuff, and he uses a sword. I mean, it's an amazing movie. I want to call it Ghostface or something like that, or I can't remember, but it was done in the 90s, I believe.
Okay, I wonder what was playing in your house growing up? Was your mom's music, your dad's music?
That was that's pretty eclectic. My dad, like I learned, and this affected me and inspired me later on when I was playing guitar, and as a musician for myself, and then just and liking other kinds of music. My dad got me into like Roy Clark, Chet Atkins, Mason Williams, one of the most amazing guitar players of all time, classical gas. That was a favorite of my father's, and I really liked that stuff. Jim Croce, Joni Mitchell, Joan Baez, the Four Lettermen, like all this really weird stuff, like coffee house music from like the Smothers Brothers.
Freshmen?
Yeah, they were called the Four Freshmen and the Lettermen, and then there was Lead Belly. There was I mean, there was all kinds of different kinds of, and then there was all this classical. There was Mozart, Beethoven, and my dad just got me really into listening to all types of music. Now, I didn't realize how much that made a difference for me as I got older, especially when I started playing, and the kind of stuff that I was writing. I had been influenced by all this other stuff, and I'm able to appreciate. I don't get stuck in one genre. You know, like when we were kids, you'd be like, "Oh, you listen to that? You're not cool." You know what I mean, or whatever that means. You know.
I don't really get stuck in one either.
Yeah, I can't now. I love whatever I hear something like, look, I even like, I don't want to say there's a, what's this? There was a Kelly Clarkson song and it was up on my MySpace back in the day. And my daughter goes, "Really, Dad? Really?" Kelly Clarkson. But it was produced well and it was a really good song, you know, and I don't care. The same with like, there's a couple of songs that Katy Perry's done that I like just because I like the production value. And I definitely love Lady Gaga. She's amazing.
I like that "I Kissed the Girl" thing. That's
no, it's the one I like is the last Friday night when she's like, you know, the video too is really good.
All right.
It's got Kenny G in it and stuff as her uncle.
What are your thoughts on the Motley Crue feud?
There's a feud with those guys.
Yeah, they kicked Mick Mars out because he couldn't tour anymore because he's got that spinal thing.
Yeah, when I saw them, the last time I saw them, interestingly enough, is when I went on my first date with the episode's mom, their mom. We went to a Motley Crue concert in Cleveland years ago, and I guess it was 2005, 2004, and he had to sit in a chair then because he couldn't stand up for long periods of time.
Right.
You know, he had that spinal stenosis thing going on or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't think. I mean, I think it's harsh to kick somebody. I think they could have like at least take care of him.
And he's the original member.
Yeah, he is an original member, and that's
Yeah.
like kicking Peter Chris out or something, or Ace
Yeah.
Frehley out of Kiss. Yeah, I don't think kicking out is a good way to do it. I think look, let's like I mean, look what Def Leppard did. Def Leppard, the guy lost an arm, and they worked around it, and
Right.
I thought that was
like,
amazing.
Imagine if Eddie Van Halen was still alive and they were still together. It's like kicking him or Alex out, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, an original
Yeah.
member. The guy wasn't getting high. The guy's not like selling tour laminates. Like some other bands have done, members have done. I mean, at a tour, but he's. I think if they took care of him, if they've taken care of him, they set him up and all that, and he's still getting, his shit from stuff that he wrote. I don't see the problem if they're going to have to get another guitar player, because if the guy can't stand up and play, if he's in so much pain and they can't accommodate him, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. It's a business move. But I think if they at least took care of him, accommodate him, make sure he's getting paid, make sure he's got like, whatever. I think I don't see anything wrong with having somebody else come in and play guitar. It's a matter of business,
Right.
So
Being the guy that used to work with Goldfinger, what did you think of when the Mighty Mighty Bosstones broke up, since you were kind of in the ska punk industry? And
I like the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, but it didn't faze me. I got into an argument with John Feldman once. I go, but you're this and that. Your genre is. I told him it's ska, but it comes from the ska tacked on from the punk movement. If there had been a punk movement, I don't think there would have been a ska, because it branched from the punk movement, especially from the English. I mean, the ska is the black and white music, the black Jamaican music and the white music mixed together, because they grew up in a lot of those working class neighborhoods. Right. And it's the same issue here when you have like rock and roll is blues, jacked up to, quicker measures. So I think it's the same kind of a thing. So I like a lot of the ska music, but I don't think it really made a big difference in the ska movement that they broke up. I mean, I don't think it was a big deal, really. I mean, they had some good stuff.
All the other bands are still around for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, you still see guys like, Dave Wakeland still plays,
Slackers, lots of other bands still play.
Yeah, my favorite though of all the ska bands was Selector, because I had a crush on the singer. She was amazing.
Selectors out there.
Yeah, I still think they still do stuff. Like Celebrate the Bullet was my favorite stuff. My friend Kenny Beasley in Sacramento, he was the guy that got me into Selector back in the 80s. He was an amazing guitar player. Was in a band called Sins of the Flesh. He's been playing forever there in Sacramento. He's a great guitar player.
Okay, what, in your opinion, is the state of hardcore punk today?
Oh, it sucks. I think you got guys like, look, I'll give you an example of something. You haven't really been around
the New York scene? They got a scene over there.
They do, but it's not as big as it was when we were kids. You know what I mean? Like it's there. It's there.
In New York, it's bigger.
I haven't seen, like, the only time I see, like, maybe I just don't know where to go to hang out, but the only time I really see, like, look, it was not just music, but it was our lifestyle. Sure. And when I was coming up, it didn't matter if it was hardcore or if it was punk. It was all the same thing. We all hung out in the same places anyways.
Michael, when I try the Bowery Electric. Drew Stone.
Yeah, I know the Bowery Electric's coming. I mean, look, I got a Sick It All tattoo. They're one of my favorite hardcore bands ever. Murphy's Law. Jimmy Gestapo's a great guy. I've known him forever, and he's always been good to me.
I love Jimmy.
Jimmy's amazing. But I think the state of it, maybe in New York it's good, but I just don't see the whole. I don't see it like it was when we were younger, when we were united. I mean,
free shows. All the time.
Like he did a free show like a couple years ago in the park. 3 years ago.
Saying they have free shows every month.
Yeah.
I'm there.
But I just don't feel like it's the same as it was when we were younger. And this is a sad thing about how the punk movement in LA kind of cracked up. Everybody started creating gangs, and I thought that's not what being a punk's about. If I want to be in a gang.
Guys from LA just a couple weeks ago, and the hardcore scene came back. It's been back since like 2000.
Yeah, it's coming back, but it's still not where, like, look, we would like, I lived on the streets. I was a gutter punk. in the 80s in Hollywood. You know,
Well,
I mean,
Michael, nothing's going to be the way it was.
no, it's never going to be the way it was. But I still like to see at least the genre. Not. I mean, I run into guys and they have this thing where like, oh yeah, that kind of music. Yeah, no, I'm hardcore. You know, a lot of the younger guys get like that, where they just like just subject them. They put themselves in that groove. They're just hardcore. But look, all this, we're all together. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of us together. You know, all the genres together. I'll give you an example of, like I was going to say, I worked with Social Distortion. I think, you know, a lot of people will come down on him because he's not punk rock anymore, straight
Yeah,
up
he
punk.
is.
And
He
but this
learned
is how he
how
told me.
punk.
But a lot of people will say that he's not, because his stuff isn't like it was like Mommy's Little Monster. But look, and the way that he
So
explained
what?
it to me. Well, let me tell you how he explained it to me.
Yeah.
That's what some people say. I don't believe it. I believe he still is, you know, but he's like, look, you got to grow. You can't be the same thing you always are, like from
True.
1985 on up. He's become one of the greatest storytellers in music
Yeah.
since Johnny Cash, influenced by Johnny Cash and Hank
Yeah.
Williams, and it still has that. And I think Johnny Cash was punk rock as fuck, as far as I'm concerned. But Mike is one of these guys that has learned how to adapt to the times and grow with it and expand his own abilities. And it's not this, it could be partly the same, but it's different and it's good.
I
It's
think
not
his
like
new
it
stuff
what
is great. It's may
oh, it's
not be as great
amazing.
as the old stuff, but it's great on another level.
On a totally another, but he's a storyteller, and that's
Right.
the thing. Like he's like, you don't see that a lot with guys. Like, okay, Prince was innovative in music. I mean, there's nothing another guy like him. But Mike is a storyteller. Like and it doesn't matter how he's doing. If he's doing it like his country stuff, or he's doing punk rock, he's telling you a story. And a lot of the stories are, it's just like Johnny told stories about himself and the things that he thought and talked about and saw.
Uh,
And Mike is the same way. And I
I
think
know.
I think he's really underrated. I don't think they in the industry they give him enough props.
I know we're rolling, but I got pissed bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So do we go on a break or?
Yeah. Can you hold the fort down for a few minutes?
Yeah, I can. I'll talk to myself. I'm good at it. Yeah, I can hold it down. I wish we had a phone that could phone in and go, "Hey, so what do you think about this?" Or why don't you shut the fuck up, Michael? You don't know what you're talking about. Or there's always the yeah, I could tell you that story. No, I don't want to tell you that story. It's too, I don't know, all the young ears out there might not be able to handle it. There's the oh yeah, it was an ex played in Sacramento years ago, and I was just a little grimy punker, and I had a stolen credit card, so I bought like 12 cases of Corona for after the show to hang out in the back with the band, share with the band, and everybody came and stuff, and I talked shit to the security guards, the biggest goddamn Mexican you ever saw. And he just almost kicked me, had me up against the wall. I'm like, I'm sorry. I was just a little shit talking kid back then. And but we all hung out. That was like Halloween of one of those like mid 80 years. And it was great drinking beer with Exene, who I had a big crush on back then. Anyways, I was telling a story.
Okay. I'm back.
All right. You wanted me to tell the story over again? You want to hear it? It's about X?
Yeah, the band X.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the band X.
Yeah, I had done a little thing that their manager, Mike Rouse, who is a great bass player too, and he got me a little job with him for a minute doing merch.
Wow.
Around the same time after I came off the tour with Social Distortion, but
When?
This was years ago, back in the 80s. They played a show. I think it was a Halloween
Wow.
sometime in Sacramento, and I had a stolen credit card, and I went and bought like 12 cases of Corona for that. I said, hey, after the show, you guys, I bought all this beer for you guys, all this Corona. And but the thing was, I had talked shit to the biggest guy. I said, the biggest goddamn Mexican you ever saw. This guy that worked at the club there in Sacramento, and he had me out back when I was out there thinking everything was cool, and he had me up on the wall, and he had lifted me up by my throat. And I go, I'm sorry, I swear to God, because I was just a little kid talking shit back then, running my mouth. But we got to hang out with John Doe, and I had the biggest crush on Exene. You know, she was
Yeah.
back in the day. I always thought she was hot. You know, their hair and
She's cute. Yeah.
yeah. And then so like I got to have beer with them and Billy Zoom
Wow.
and yeah, and it was amazing. And when I came to New York and I was working, there was an AD. His name is Wex, and he had worked with this guy named Eric Yellen. Eric Yellen passed away, another great AD. And his favorite band was Motorhead, not Motorhead. His favorite band was X. That's what it was. He was an X freak. So I said, well, they were coming into the Nokia Theater when they had the Nokia Theater in downtown Times Square.
Right.
And I just started working. I go, look, you guys want to go? You and Wex want to go? I'll get you in. They go, get out of here. And I go, no, I used to work for him. I'll call up the manager, their tour manager, and their manager, and I'll get you guys. They got VIP taken care of. They were they were in heaven.
Wow.
He was like, "You ever want a job, man? Y'all give you a job anytime you want." And
Wow.
they loved it. He would sit there with his mouth hanging open all night, getting to talk to John Doe and Billy
Wow.
Zoom, and they loved it. And I always like doing that for people. Like there were a couple other actors when Social Distortion and because I was working in the industry, I was trying to get a job with Joan Jett's company, and so I was just kind of, they knew who I was or whatever, and I had been working in film at the time, so I knew a couple actors that would come to town working on stuff, and I go, hey, you want to go to the show? It's this weekend. They go, yeah, for sure. And so I took Jay Hernandez to Social Distortion and Erica Christensen. We went out to dinner to this Mexican restaurant. Wow. It was called Florencia 13. It was Mexican food, like Baja Monterey style from LA type of thing. And the mother, she was Tex-Mex, brilliant. And then they also did the Baja Monterey style. So they mixed the genres of food into this restaurant. And you'd walk in, it was on Sullivan between Bleecker and Houston, and you'd see like Lowrider Bike and all this really cool Chicano art. And people like Danny Trejo would be in there sometimes when he came to town. And it was just an amazing restaurant. And so we'd go there first, and then we'd go hit the show. And it would always have VIP and be hanging out. And that's how I got to talk to, we were at the Joan Jett show, and I think Erica was there, Christensen, I took her there, and they go, hey, Joan wants to talk to you. And I go, okay.
Wow.
I had the biggest, I'm just stupid. I go in there and she's putting on her Converse. She's got a little pants on and she's so beautiful, man.
Yeah.
So beautiful. And I'm just standing up against the wall, and I'm like 12 years old again. I can't talk, you know what I mean? And she's like, so what's going on? I told her, yeah. I go, look, that's really hard for me, man, because I feel like I'm like 12 again, standing here with you. You're so amazing. And she goes, you're doing all right, kid. And then she's like, went out and played, and that was a great experience for me. And those little moments that I've had in music.
But Michael, she's not into guys.
Definitely yeah, I don't care. I was fulfilling my own childhood fantasy. I knew it wasn't. I know the reality of it. Like, let's not fuck up the fantasy.
She might have been early on. She might have been, but then.
Well, I've heard that she can go either way, but she's not into guys. But I think if she found the right one, of course, I don't think my ego is not that crazy to think that I'm that one, though. You know what I mean? But it's still nice to like a boy can dream, right? Why can't we dream? Let's not kill our dream. Don't be a dream killer.
All right. Who do you think is the funniest person ever? Everybody's a different answer.
Man, that's so weird. You can't just say the funniest person. My favorite top 5 are like Pryor, Carlin, Williams, and Lenny Bruce, and Robin Williams.
That's a good top 5.
Those are the guys, man. Those are the guys that made a big difference for comedy. And Carlin, I said Carlin, maybe. I don't know if I did or not. But Carlin and Richard worked together. I mean, Richard and Mel Brooks wrote Blazing Saddles together. I mean, yeah. I mean, the guy was writing comedy in the early '60s at NBC with George Carlin.
I would say that Brooks was probably the king of comedy in his time, was like the funniest person alive in his time. And then Pryor,
the producers, was so brilliant. The producers,
right? I'm saying that and Pryor was kind of like in his time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And
Now
they
you
were
got really
at two
good.
different times. By the time Pryor was around, Mel was kind of not really doing stand up anymore. He's more in the films.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you ever read Gene Wilder's autobiography, I mean, back in the day, he waited tables in Manhattan. He could pay his rent and pay for the actor's studio and still have money to spare. I mean, that's how the economy was back then. And live in Manhattan in his own apartment. I mean, that's how amazing it was. And it was because Mel's wife, Mrs. Robinson, I forgot her name, but she was so hot back in the day too. But yeah, Mrs. Robinson, I call her. She introduced him to Mel Brooks because they were at the actor studio together. And that's how he met Mel Brooks, and that's how he got the producers with Zero Mostel. And if it wasn't for like Peter Sellers, that was one of the films that was on the shelf at the studio, and it didn't really get any marketability for. But when Peter played it at a party, because he would do that, he would grab movies from the studio, and then we'd have parties on the weekends.
Yeah.
And show certain movies. He fell in love with it, and he put his own money behind it to distribute it in New York. And it blew up because he did it in LA and New York, and LA didn't really take to it at first, but New York, it blew up. And then if it hadn't have been for Peter Sellers, nobody would have seen that movie, the producers. Amazing.
All right.
More useless information.
All right.
What else you got for me?
Right. Hold on.
Yeah, it was cool. I met you at Bad Religion a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Your friend did the lighting, right?
No, the front of house guy, Rockin' Ronnie Doss, Ron Kimball. Yeah.
Right.
He is the guy that he's one of my oldest friends. I've known him for 40 years. I met him in Sacramento. He was in a great band called Race Train Schizo. Terry Baum was the lead singer. Bob Stubbs was a drummer. Bob Stubbs is in a band now called the Rhythm Dragons out of Phoenix. It's a 3-piece like rockabilly band. And Bob was one of the drummers for Social Distortion. Bob's a great drummer.
Wow.
And all these guys are in Sac. There's a guy named Jeff Stamatellis who's one of the guitar players. He's passed away, unfortunately. That evil opiate. And then Ron was the other guitar player. Now Ron taught me how to tune guitars, how to fix them, how to work a stage.
Nice.
He worked with this guy named Greg Dean, who was in a band called Borman 6 there. And then him and this guy named Greg Dowdy, I think he was in a band called Pride and Peril in Sacramento. And then they all three created this sound company called No Show Sound. They went to LA and they became the biggest little small sound company in Los Angeles. They did the Scream Club, Coconut Teaser, the Whiskey. I mean, these guys were big time after like 6 months. And then Greg, last time I met Greg, I was in Cleveland to drop something at Green Day, and he was their tour manager. And then I hadn't seen Ron in years. And when they flew me out to do the stage managing for Goldfinger, I'm coming down off the bus steps, and Ron is walking up, and he's like, "Oh my God, get the fuck! You're still alive!" And I had a bit of a time when I was younger, so yeah, and it was really good to run into him again. And then we've just stayed in touch ever since. And whenever we're in the same city or something, he's in with Bad Religion.
I mean, who hasn't done it well? From time to time. I mean, some people haven't, some people have.
Yeah. He's done really, I mean, he bought a house in Fiji, he's bought a house in Ireland, just doing front of house sound.
I now thought of the question. Do you like death metal and things of that extreme music? Some people like it, some people don't.
It depends. I think it's song by song. There might be a song that I like, but I just don't really jump into the genre. The intensity of it, I think I never really got into it when I was younger.
What about bands like Metallica?
Oh, well, yeah, man. Come on, man. Come on. That's like saying, what about bands like Led Zeppelin? Oh, yeah, of course. You know, Metallica, they're amazing. I mean, look what Johnny Cash did with that rock and roll, like Metallica and Trent Reznor stuff. I mean, yeah, that stuff is like, it's going to be 1,000 years from now, they're going to be listening to that shit. You know, it's like
Right.
the Star Trek movie when Kirk is listening to what's their face, you know, that band that I can't remember. Oh, Rage Against the Machine. You know what I mean? It's like 500 years in the future. They're going to be doing that. You know, they're going to be listening to
Yeah.
music from our time.
Right. Do you know who is Ian Ellis?
Ian Ellis?
Yes.
I should know that name. It's some metal guy.
No, he's a stand-up comic from Chicago, former stand-up comic.
Oh, well, then I didn't know. The Ian threw me off because there's a few people named Ian that are in music.
Yeah,
And
that's
we were
true.
talking about Ian. So, no, I'm not familiar with them.
Are you a sports fan?
Yes, 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 I am.
What's your favorite team?
Right now, because
Or
when I was younger, it was like the Cowboys. When I was a kid, Texas A&M. We lived in Texas, and then
Right.
I was a Raiders fan in the '80s as well. And but I kind of fell out when certain quarterbacks leave or when the team breaks up. I'm not like a diehard fan. And if I'm gonna bet money on a team, I'm gonna bet on the team that's gonna win, not because I'm a fan and lose my money. I was a really big fan of the Jets when Mark Sanchez was playing. He's the first Chicano Mexican quarterback really in the NFL.
Nice.
And he kicked Ohio State's ass during the Rose Bowl, and I love that because I can't stand the Buckeyes. When I lived in Cleveland, I would go buy Michigan Wolverine stuff just to wear around all over Cleveland to piss everybody off. That's the kind of guy. But
Do you
that's
have
how I became a Wolverines fan.
Okay.
Go
Do you have
blue.
a favorite movie?
But wait, hold on. I wanted to punch this in real quick before I go to the movie thing. Yes, I'm an Indiana Fever fan, True Blue for the last 2 years, but I've been following Caitlin Clark for about 4 years, and I'm a big fan of hers and Sophie Cunningham, of course.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite movie ever? Or
Oh man, I
you
don't have a
you
favorite
don't have to
movie
narrow it
either.
down to one. You can give a top 5 if you feel like it.
Yeah, I'll give you a top 5 because I have loved different movies for different reasons.
Okay.
And because
That's fine. You don't have to narrow it down to like the absolute number one.
Yeah, as
That's
an aspiring
wild.
filmmaker and a screenplay writer, I've been influenced by movies my whole life. I've got like Bonnie and Clyde is one of my all-time favorites with Warren Beatty
Oh
and
yeah,
Faye Dunaway. All
I've seen it.
time
Great
best.
movie.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so good. Gene Hackman,
Warren
Estelle
Beatty.
Getty. Yeah, it's a great movie.
It still holds up now. I've seen it.
Yeah,
probably
for sure.
I saw it like probably 5-6 years ago. Still great.
Yeah, for sure. There is what else would I say from a later genre? It'll come back to me. I mean, of course, I like some of Tarantino stuff a lot. True Romance is my favorite one of his because I like his
Yeah.
influence. But
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
the whole rock and roll, the punk rock Romeo and Juliet thing. Two people against the world. I'm a sucker for that true love shit all
Yeah.
the time. And when you're fighting for your girl and your girl's fighting for you, and they're side by side,
Right.
and
that's
they're
the
in
first
love.
time that's kind of like the first time we got to see James Gandolfini as like the gangster guy.
Yeah, that was his
Right.
first big role, actually, that got him
Yeah.
everything else. Was that movie,
And it was
actually.
like,
He was brilliant in that. Oh my God, his intensity and the whole subtext of his character was
beating
just
the living shit
brilliant.
out of her. That was great.
Yeah, yeah. And he's kind of chuckling when he's telling the story to her, like,
kind
you
of
know, when
like
you kill somebody, you know, this and that.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that's great. My husband's gonna be
It's-
back soon.
you can't just steal mob coke and think you're gonna get away with it.
Yeah. Well, they didn't even know
Yeah.
it was Mom Coke, though. You know what I mean? Because you know, they didn't know. But I get it. You know. But that makes the story. I mean, you got to have a protagonist, and you got to have, like, look at this. Like, you know, you remember the whole thing was we didn't never see it in Pulp Fiction when they open the briefcase and they go, "Is that what I think it is?" Yeah. You know, and everybody wants to know, is it souls in the briefcase? What is the metaphor? You know.
Yeah.
Now, when Guy Ritchie did Rock and Rolla, which is a great movie, he stole the whole idea from Tarantino because there's this painting that we see, and it's done the same way as the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. We never see what's on the painting, but everybody's killing each other over the painting.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, you got to see Rock and Rolla is like Guy Ritchie is really good as well. There's it's a Pulp Fiction but English gangster style. And I love English gangsters. I mean, they're so amazing. They're just great. And
My
so you got to
brother-
see Rock and Rolla. It's mixed with rock and roll and mob, and it's great.
There's a one guy commenting, He's from Texas, and
What part of Texas is he from? I lived in Texas for a long
I
time.
forget, but he did mention Bonnie and Clyde had a
Oh.
hideout in his town about 2 miles from his house.
Well, you know what's funny though? I dated this girl. Her name was Drew. I'm not gonna say her last name, but she worked for Joe Wazan, a producer out in Los Angeles, and her grandfather was Frank Hammer. Frank Hammer was the Texas Ranger that finally caught up to Bonnie and Clyde,
Oh, wow.
and just blew him away, basically, him and his partner.
pretty much. Well, that's when you're an outlaw, you're going to be taken alive
Yeah.
or not alive.
Yeah, but usually they're going to take you out. You know, that's especially at that caliber. You know, doing that kind of shit. So I was going to tell you the other movies.
Go ahead.
I guess, you know, different movies, there are different genres for different things. And I'm just a film fan. I can't really say. I think that the first time I saw the Chris Nolan Batman stuff, and I can't just say one way. I think the first one was the best one. The other ones were just more like about celebrating the villain or focusing on the villains. And I think you have to like keep focus on Bruce Wayne. The villains are just
Batman or The Dark Knight.
I'm talking about the first one. Nolan did the series with Christian Bale. The first one was the best, but the last two, I think, were more focused on the villains than, you know, and Batman was more of like a side guy rather than the main focus of the movie. It was, but Keith Ledger was one of the best Jokers I've ever seen. Of course, you know, rest in peace. But and so I just don't really have another top. I just think different movies have influenced me for different ways, and there's so many that are good, and for different reasons. So, you know, I love film. We'll see.
Now, far away into the next question. What screenplays have you written that we might have seen?
I haven't. You haven't seen any that I've written. I've written a few, but I'm still trying to get them sold. I've had a couple optioned. There is I'll tell you this story. You should hear it. Everybody should hear it. I was in prison my second term in California. I came from East LA. I was in a gang. I had a lot of stuff going on, drugs. I ended up getting locked up in prison. I was in my second term. I didn't think I was ever going to get out, or I was just going to like die in prison or die in the streets. And I said, you know what? I got to start doing something different. Well, when I was in the first time, I thought, well, when I get out, I'll marry somebody and I'll settle down. I'll be good. So I married my bartender, and she was a methamphetamine addict. So that just self-destructed. And I was only out 8 months. Yeah, and I went back.
Exactly work.
Yeah, that didn't work. So the second time,
it's not a good drug.
No,
I'm not saying that there are any good drugs, but
that's really bad.
I think it's worse than crack and all that. But
yeah, it's worse than all of them.
Yeah,
so
I'm saying the rest are still bad. So
but yeah, it's nasty. So so I was in my second term, and I started taking all the art classes in there. Guitar class, painting class. That's where I learned to finally play guitar. I had a lot of time to focus on things. And I was in a screenwriting class. And my teacher said, she came to me after class on one Friday, and she says, look, we're going to start a theater program in here. And I go, yeah, that's great. Right on. And then she says, well, it's going to be a Shakespeare Behind Bars program, and we're going to do classical theater. And I go, well, that's great. Good luck to you. And then she said, well, I think it would really help you a lot. I think you'd benefit a lot from it. And all I could think it was like me wearing tights and shit in prison. That's not going to happen. and I go, you know, I don't think that's going to work for me. And she goes, no, well, like, just think about it for the weekend and roll it over your mind and think about it, and then we'll talk about it next week. I said, okay, fine, I'll do that. That weekend, because they show a video on the Saturdays of a movie, the guards bring it in, and it goes throughout you plug into your TV into the whatever. They showed Desperado, and Desperado had Danny Trejo in it, and I knew Danny's story. I had met Danny years earlier at a meeting, and he likes to tell this story. The guy's brilliant.
Robert Rodriguez, Walt Desperado.
Desperado with Antonio Banderas and
Selma
Hayek, directed by Robert Rodriguez, and Danny Trejo with the Mexican girl on his chest, the tattoo. Which is funny because when they first met on that movie, he goes, "Oh my God, I know you. I dreamed about you. You're on my chest." And he pulls open his shirt, and he's got this. They call it a charra, the female, Mexican girl with the big sombrero on, and she's like, oh my god, and then they became like the best friends. I mean, like he's just the nicest, solid guy ever, and he's really good at playing a bad guy because he's been that, but he's genuinely a nice man and will help anybody. But because I seen him in this movie doing that, and people respected him, even people that I was doing time with that knew him because he has a big family in Pacoima, and people know of him. I go, this guy can do this, then I can do it. And not that it was easier for me because he was doing it, but because they respected him, so nobody would really. I could do this. And so that next week I joined with the program. This guy Joseph Hodge, who is our director, he's now in charge of all the theater programs out in North Carolina, Chapel Hill.
Wow.
And Leah Jokey, she studied at Juilliard, and then she became the arts and corrections facilitator for all the Southern California prisons at that time. She wrote a book called Juilliard to Jail about her adventure from Juilliard and all through her, whatever. She's got a one-woman show that she does.
This is great, but I'm having a stomach issue right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Michael.
Anyways, what saved my life, and here I am
Thank you for
today
doing
because
this.
of it. Yeah.
Love the stories, and we'll chat again soon. And if you want to see what the hardcore scene is, just follow Drew Stone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll send you my links to my
Okay.
TikTok and stuff, and then I'll also get that music of the episodes, and I'll get it to you.
Thank you,
Pictures.
everybody that watched
music.
this. Thank you, Michael, for doing this.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I hope you tuned in.
All right, and it's over.
Peace.
All right.